So besides micro beer breweries, applying for your APRC in Taiwan seems to be one of the hottest things to do in Taiwan right now. Unfortunately, the immigration department is really swamped with applications, hundreds of applications really. So to make their life a little bit easier and to give you a little bit more information about the process, I went down there and I had a chat with them about the process of applying for an APRC. Now they have this really cool little checklist per se available, which I'll put on my blog page for you, with some notes and things that you need to prepare before you make your application. The first thing that was really stressed to me when I went down there is that you need to apply to the area where you live or where your ARC is registered. In other words, if you live in Taipei City, you need to apply to Taipei City. If you live in Taipei County is where you need to apply. And if you live in Hsinchu, you need to apply in Hsinchu, and I'm sure that counts for every other city on the island. Now, if we look at this little checklist of theirs, the first topic here is about who qualifies to actually apply for this. Now, people who can apply for this need to be older than 20 years old, and they cannot be ROC nationals. In addition, you need to live in the country for 183 days out of a year for 5 consecutive years. Now that means that your ARC can have no breaks in it for 5 consecutive years. And by breaks, that means, well, the obvious, which is, if you change your ARC, that would be considered a break in that 5 consecutive years. If your ARC number for whatever reason changes, that would be considered a break as well. So then you have to start counting again from day 1. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize is if the purpose on your ARC changes, that is considered a break. In other words, if your ARC is a student ARC or visa, and from that you go to a work one, that is change of purpose. And that's considered a break, as well as marriage, I would imagine. So your ARC cannot have a break for 5 consecutive years. It has to be completely stable and solid with the same number and everything for 5 consecutive years. Okay, that's the first one. The second part in this is giving you a little bit of information about what you need to prepare. You need to fill out an application form. You need to prepare 2 photos with a white background. You need to give them a record of your entry and exit from Taiwan. Now that, unfortunately, you can't get yourself. You need to get that from an immigration department office of the place where you live. You need to go ask them for that, and they will print it out for you. In addition, you need to give your original as well as a photocopy of your passport. The reason why you give your original is just for them to verify that it's an original document, and they will return it to you right away. But you still need to give that to them. And that you need to copy on A4 pages, and you need to especially copy the pages that are applicable to Taiwan, like entry, re-entry, stamps, things like that, right? Then the next thing is also original and photocopy of your ARC, again on an A4 page. Once they verify it, they give you the original back. Then there's something that's been recently changed. It is a health examination report. Now this is an interesting one. This is a little bit tricky. If you have not left Taiwan for more than 3 months at a time in the 5 consecutive years that are counted towards this application, you don't need to have that health examination check. If you leave the country for more than 4 months within that 5-year period, you need to get this health thing. So in other words, if you stay in Taiwan long enough, you don't need to get this health thing. So again, less than 3 consecutive months out of the country, you don't need to get the health thing. The next point is similar. It's about a police record. This one you need to get from your own or your country of origin. But again, if you haven't left the country for more than 3 months consecutively within this 5-year timeline, you don't need this police record from your own country. So the health one and the police one has been recently changed a little bit to say the 3-month thing. However, you do need a police record from Taiwan. And that record is only valid for 3 months. So from the time that you get it, you have 3 months to make and get this application approved. So you might want to wait on that a little bit and prepare all your other stuff before you do that. Something else that's even shorter than that is the employment certificate. So you need a certificate of employment from your company, and that is only valid for a month. So that you need to be really careful with. You need to plan your time quite well around that. In addition, you need copies of the last 3 years of your work permit. Okay, the next thing is your financial assets proof. This one's also a little bit tricky. There are two options. Option one, you need to give them a salary certificate or a withholding or non-withholding tax statement showing that you had an average income per month of approximately $37,560 per month. And you need to get this from the Council of Labor Affairs. Alternatively, option B, you need to show evidence that you own property to the value of 5 million NT dollars. So that would be the financial bit of this application. Now, in addition to this, I have a couple of my own notes. So the cost of this application is 10,000 Taiwan dollars. And as of 2013 October, you only need to pay that once your APRC is approved. But this might change, so you need to check up on that before you make your application. The other note that I have here is the application process for APRC takes approximately 30 days or more. So if your current visa is going to run out, you're going to have some trouble. So they want you to have at least a 3-month valid visa before you make this application. If your visa in Taiwan is not valid for at least another 3 months, you need to apply for an extension on that before you make this application. So the next thing I have on here is, again, just pointing out how busy they are. You need to make an appointment to go there and see them. You can't just show up. They're too busy. They only take people by appointment. If you wanted to go there, I suggest that you do a week or 2 weeks before you want to go there. You call them up and you make an appointment to make sure that you have enough time to get there and that all your documents are still valid and they haven't run out of time. Then I have 2 notes about spouses. So the first one is, if you're applying for an APRC as a foreign spouse of a foreigner, then you need to have either a $5 million investment in Taiwan, or you need to have proof of 450,000 NT dollars income per year. And then, of course, all the other regulations as well. The second one is, if you're applying for an APRC as a foreign spouse of a Taiwan national, then it becomes combined. So you need to have a combined $5 million investment in Taiwan or a combined income of $450,000 per year, and all the other regulations as well. So those are for the spouses. Then finally, once you get your APRC, the regulation for this APRC as of today is you need to be in the country 183 days per year. If you violate that, your ARC will be revoked. If there's a reason why you need to go abroad for more than that time allowed, you can write to the immigration and ask for a special extension or reasoning why you're doing that. But it can't be more than 2 years. The 2-year thing is the cutoff. So I hope this clears up a bit of the confusion about applying for an APRC. I haven't applied for one, so I don't really have first-hand experience with it. But the people at the immigration office are actually super friendly and very helpful, but they are really tired. They work really long hours. So try to figure out what you need to do beforehand and don't call them up if it's information that you can get online.